Alright, hopefully that works. Ah. Okay. Okay. Alright, I think we're good. I think we're ready. Let's hope. That's very loud. I might be kind of quiet, so I apologize for that. Um, I've been trying to get this to work for so long, and I think it works now, so that's good. Just want to see. Okay, good, good, good. I'll try to keep this not too close, because like it's right in front of me, so I can see it. I don't want it to be like this for you guys, you know. So we'll keep it like over there. So right now I'm drawing my uh, my comic. Um, this is my supernatural comic. Um, I've been working on this comic for about 2 years, so I'm pretty, you know, I'm used to doing it at this point, you know. Um, Cass's face kind of gives me some trouble sometimes, but yeah, I'm gonna start over because I don't like that. But sometimes I get it really easily. Because here I draw 3 different face shapes. There's Sam, Dean, Cass. And Sam's is kind of this longer, kind of, it's a little bit too long. Sam's is kind of like this shape. A little bit less wonky, but like this. Dean's is like this. That's a little. It's, like that. And then Cass, he kind of gets this rounded looking, like that. A little bit wider there, but yeah. So his face should be a little bit wider, like that. But otherwise, it's fine. It's good. And this face shape is okay. I mean, I might want to fix it later. But right now I'm just sketching out what I want each panel to look like, so that it's, you know, okay for the future. Yeah. Next comes my favorite part, drawing the neck, because I love drawing necks. They're great. My high school art teacher actually taught me how to draw people, like humanoid things, and uh, he taught us how to draw like a proportionate face. I think I might actually have my thingy up here. Or no, it's in art class. Somewhere in here. Yeah, this is all my Procreate stuff. School projects here. This is my proportionate face. He's a little crooked. See if I flip the canvas, he's tilting this like this way. He's tilted this way, like that. You know, but you know he's fine. This eyebrow over here is a little bit up. Too much. The eyes are a little crooked like that. But, you know, it's fine. It was a school project. I mean, now that I'm looking at it, I'm kind of like, yeah, I don't like his face. But his face is pretty proportionate, at least to how I was taught. Because you have the inside eye corner should be matched up with the sides of the nose. The lip corners should be matched up with the edges of the eyes, which they're not perfect, but it's not terrible either. The neck should be about in line with the jaw, because I mean, if you look at me, my neck is in line with my jaw right there. My eyes go right to the edge of my nose. The edge of the eyes go to just outside the lip corners. So it's proportionate. It's just I did it all freehand, so he's not perfect. But like this is the guy. So when I draw stuff in my style, I try to keep that same proportion rule, just like cartoonized, because I draw in cartoons. But, you know, it's fine like this. Just let me erase some of this. So the next thing I like to focus on is the ears and hair. So when I draw characters, especially if I'm drawing the same character often, like in a comic, I like to make sure that their hair has a certain flow to it. Just so I can draw it very easily every time I draw them. So I had a comic called Us Against the Worlds, and it was not my favorite comic, but it was my first one. So the main character, I created him and his girlfriend and his brother, and his brother and him are twins, so they look exactly the same. But so this is his face shape. It's just kind of like a U, and then his neck goes like that. And I used to draw him in a different style, and his name was Odysseus, and his girlfriend's name was Calypso, and I had been studying Greek mythology, so I kind of had that story back in the back of my mind about Odysseus and Calypso, how Odysseus was traveling to his hometown of Athens, I believe, and he was put on Calypso's island by Poseidon, because Poseidon was like, I don't like you, Odysseus, so you can stay out of the ocean, but he has to go in the ocean, whatever. So this is how I would draw Odysseus. Kind of his ears there, maybe not sticking out as much, but, and I get the side pieces that cover his ears, his what are those called, sideburns. And then I usually do his hair in 2 strokes. We got the one piece here, like that, and that's the front, and then the sides goes like that. So that's 3 strokes actually. And just because I like how it looks, I go like that. But even though his hair is kind of shorter than this, and then his eyes would be like this, and I hate drawing this now because I don't like how it looks anymore. But that's Odysseus. This is Odie. That's how he looks. So that's that style. Cass, on the other hand, he looks similar, but different, obviously, because he isn't Odysseus. So I'll put his ears in here. Those are good, probably. Yeah, those are good. I still like to draw the hair like that, but that's not how Cass's hair looks. Because if we look back at old pages, because I haven't drawn this in a while, so you get some sneak peeks here. Here's Cass's hair. This is how he usually looks. So he has this swoop over his ear, and it goes up and then down twice, and that's the front of his hair. And the side is 3 lines, and then his the back of his hair kind of looks exactly like Odysseus's, just not sticking out far as much because Cass's hair is shorter. So we'll do that, because I don't know if you noticed, but I almost went like that, and that's not what Cass's hair looks like. And even if I was going to make it look like that, I have to keep the continuity for each chapter. So if he had this, his hair would have to be longer, and I don't want to do that. So we'll just keep the continuity here. This part usually takes a couple of strokes because sometimes I make it too angular, and I don't like how that looks. Yeah, so there's Cass's hair. Pretty simple there. He has a button-up shirt, like that. And it's always opened, because a button-up shirt usually just looks like this, and then you have like a tie, or the button like this. But for Cass, he has his shirt open just a little bit, and then a tie, and he also wears a trench coat. So I'll add the lapels in here. And sometimes, since these are his shoulders, you can't really see them, I'll have a little dent line there to indicate his shoulders. But since his shoulders aren't really prominent here, I mean, it's fine. But I usually don't put these lines here and here, just because I don't need them. But that part all depends on how I'm feeling, and I put his ears up a little bit too high, so I'm gonna fix that. Put them down here. This goes out a little bit more, I think. And then his eyes. I try to keep the shape consistent for his eyes, but, you know, sometimes it doesn't work out. And he's supposed to be... I guess he's kind of shocked a little bit right now, so I'll give him a neutral-ish face. Because he's supposed to be kind of in the middle of a fight here. But not really. Kind of after a fight, so I go like this. I want him to be bloody here. Maybe we'll do hit there. Maybe like a cut on his cheek. Like that. See, the problem is with this is that I have to keep this consistent. So if he has a cut on his cheek here and it's bleeding, I have to make sure that I keep the cut and the drip consistent. So I think I'll just do a cut and we'll decide if I want there to be blood later. Which I don't think I want there to be, but it all depends. This is alright. It looks a little off. So I'm just gonna flip the canvas here. And see, good thing I flipped the canvas. Because he's leaning this way, which is fine, but at the same time, I don't want it to be leaning that way. So I'm just gonna distort the canvas and move him a little bit like that, and we'll see if that's better. Yeah, that's better. A little bit. Forgot his lines under his eyes. That looks weird without them. And someone is vacuuming, so that's good news. Great news. You know, whatever. Who cares? And, I wanted this to be Dean here, but this is kind of small. Should it be... Sorry, I'm thinking. So, the page before this, or a couple pages before this, so this is Dean here, right there. He gets his arm cut by a villain here, and I'm not sure if I want to just have his arm in this panel here, or if I want his upper body in it too, because he's just covering it. So maybe I mean, we have some continuity here with Dean's face. Yeah, maybe we'll just have him, we'll do kind of a shoulder down sort of thing. And how do I want that? Because we got shoulder here, so this can go down. Can have this go up front for that. Neck. That's a little too wide, actually. That's too skinny. turn the sound off for a second there. So we're gonna have Dean's arm go over there. I'm just gonna clean up some of my guidelines here so I remember what it's supposed to look like over there. Because Dean's wearing a flannel and a t-shirt, so we'll have the t-shirt here. He gets his necklace. Go up a little bit. That. That. And then have it like this. No, let's go. His hand looks a little weird. But it's just because you can't see his thumb. But maybe we'll go like that so you can see it. Just the little tip there. That looks a little better. That took me 4 tries to press this button up here. The heck. Alright, that's good. So I'm just gonna select this, make it a little bit bigger. There we go. And then I don't have to worry about getting his jawline right or drawing any parts of the face, because what you're supposed to be focusing on in this panel is that he's covering his arm. And I need to erase that. And he's got some blood dripping down here. I'll use red for that, actually, just so we remember that that's blood. And then we'll have it drip down this way too. We'll have a little bit on his hand, maybe, just so we know that he's covering up a bloody place. I will actually be right back. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me. um, I was just getting more water. I have 2 cups. I'm actually gonna fix that. Just a second. Real quick. Okay. Alright. That's a little better. The sun is pretty bright, so I was just closing those windows back there. I was drawing Dean over here. Let's see if that's still connected. Probably not. See if that works. I have to connect again. Alright, that worked. Cool. And it's back. Amazing. Imagine if I had not just done that, and then I was drawing forever, and then it was just this screen the whole time. That would have been horrible. This is difficult. Talking while drawing. I don't usually talk while I draw. I usually just draw. Or I will watch a movie or something. But, you know, I can't really watch a movie right now, which is okay. It's fine. I need to draw something quick. So I'm putting this here because I want like his posture to be the same, but this information down here isn't important because I want Dean's head to be here. So I just want this part to be the same. If that makes sense. Hopefully it does, because I feel like a lot of things I say don't make any sense. Oh well. What was I saying? I was saying I don't usually talk when I draw, just because it's difficult for me to focus on the two things, but at the same time, it's like I multitask all the time, so it doesn't really matter that much. I usually watch a movie or a TV show. Lately, I was watching Family Guy, and then I finished it, and there are 20 seasons, so I finished all 20 seasons, and then season 21 started going on Hulu, and I think 7 episodes are on it so far. So I've watched the first 6 episodes, 6.5, I think. So I just have the rest of episode 7, and then I'm not sure when the next episode comes out on Hulu, but I've been watching it there. And then my brother has been watching American Dad, so I kind of want to watch American Dad too. Because I really do like Seth MacFarlane's shows. I like his comedy. I know there's like plenty of cartoons that are similar that are also funny, like Bob's Burgers or The Simpsons, Rick and Morty and stuff. And I like all of those shows too. I like Bob's Burgers. I just haven't watched it in a while. I've watched most of Rick and Morty except season 6, the new season. I haven't watched that yet, just because I wanna watch them all together, not just like one episode at a time. And um, I don't know. Seth MacFarlane's shows are just good. Oh, The Simpsons. I was saying The Simpsons. The Simpsons. I tried to watch it. I tried to get into it. I just can't. The the Simpsons movie. That's the only thing that I've watched, like, through and through. Because I don't know. I like it, I guess. Sorry, just adjusting my computer over there. I've watched The Simpsons. They also had this I think it was a Twilight parody where oh, I can't remember her name. Lisa, I think. Lisa Simpson, like, she meets this new boy at school, and he's a vampire, and he's like, let's run away together. And she's like, okay. Um, and I remember the end part where he takes her up like a tower or something, and he's about to bite her, and then both of their dads like go chase them down, and they're like, what are you doing? You can't do this. And I'm pretty sure like the Count from Sesame Street was there. Um, yeah, it was funny though. It was funny. Like, The Simpsons is funny. I haven't watched it. Recently, I have been watching the Marvel Cinematic Universe movies again. I watched Iron Man, Iron Man 2, Thor, and then Captain America. I just finished the Avengers, and I also finished Iron Man 3, which Iron Man 3, I do really like it. I really like Iron Man 3. I think it's like Iron Man 1 is always going to be the best because it was the first. It's the pioneer of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Like, it set the tone, it set the characters, it's just it's a good movie. It has problems, I'll give you that, but like it's just a good movie. And I mean, I like it. It knows what it is, and like, it was directed well, it was shot well, the CGI is pretty good, pretty believable, still very like, it holds up still, and it's been 12 years or something. It's 14 years. So I've been watching those movies. I really do like the first Iron Man, but Iron Man 3 is probably my favorite, at least of the Iron Man movies. Just because I like the I don't know, I just like it. I like that Tony has some problems. Like, he has anxiety attacks. He has internal struggle. It's not just external. Like, Iron Man 1, there wasn't really that much internal conflict. It was all just external. It was Obadiah is kicking Tony out of the company. He's selling weapons. Tony tries to stop him. Tony wants to save the people in Afghanistan, in Yinsen's village. And so he builds the suit. And it's he doesn't really have like an internal struggle. I mean, the only thing that he really gets is like his love story with Pepper as a emotional problem, I guess, if you could call it that. But like, a romance plot isn't the same as an emotional conflict, because I mean, it doesn't even get resolved in that movie. It's it's resolved in Iron Man 2 when they like get together. So, I don't know. But I like the first Iron Man. It's just external struggle, and like that's good. It's just I don't want the whole movie to be that. So Iron Man 3 is just it's better. I think it's a little bit better because there's a like a mystery element that we get to look at. We have Tony's panic attacks. We get the relationship with Tony and the kid. We get his relationship with Pepper. We get some actual intimidation from the villain. And I wouldn't say it's a solid twist, but it's like, yeah, that was subversive, and I like it. Because I really do like how Ben Kingsley is like, I love how he gave the one character 100% in one direction and then did a complete 180 with the same character and went all in on that one too. And he was intimidating and scary, and then at the same time he's like the funniest character, and he's a total goofball, and he's so funny. I don't know. I like it. A lot of people don't really like Ben Kingsley's inclusion in the MCU, and I agree there are like some problems with it, but like whatever, man. It's a movie. Just let it entertain you. Also, the jokes in Iron Man 3 are just really funny. There's that whole bit with the like Doro watch, and then the Mark 42 keeps like breaking, and there's this one bit where Tony, he can't fly, so he has to like walk down the stairs, and he's really like he's usually very graceful in his Iron Man suits, but he like walks down the stairs and he's all wobbling and everything. It's so funny. Also, I made this expression completely wrong because I wasn't focused on it. He's he's looking up, so he should be like worried here. Um, yeah, I don't know. My favorite part about drawing faces is just the expression. Like, look at how much his face changed, and all I did was change the eyebrows and his mouth shape. Like he looked like cool as a cucumber there for a second, and now he's all like concerned. Like if I didn't draw for like fun for a living, I guess I would be like, how do you do that? How do you make that? How do you make this? That doesn't make any sense. How did you do that? But faces are the easiest thing to draw for me. Um, they come very naturally. You'll actually notice if you watch a lot of my speed paints, or if you watch me draw, I focus on the body first because that's the most difficult thing. Like let's look at some of my sketches here. Like let's look at one. Here, this is an older one, but this one's good. So this, I know this looks frightening. Just ignore the subject matter. But I have this ability to look at how I draw. So usually when I draw, I rough out the body, and this is what I'm doing here. And I needed a reference for holding something. So I took this is actually a picture of my hand right here. Because I was trying to draw her holding something, but I couldn't get it to go the right way. See how it looks weird there, and then I take this picture of my hand, and I get it in the position I want it, and then I'm able to, and then look how much better that looks. And sometimes I'll trace a picture, like if it's the hand reference. Like sometimes I can't figure out how to draw it, so I'll trace the picture. But like that's not bad. It's literally just I'm just teaching myself how to do it by looking at the picture. So I'll rough out the body here, and then you can see the beginnings of the face on the girl here. And then I'm just adding his face, and then I usually just go over the body one more time. Sometimes I'll go over the body and then add clothes. And at this point in my drawings, I wasn't adding wrinkles to the clothes. You'll notice without the shadows here, they look very flat, these two people. So like I wasn't adding any wrinkles at all. So that's not, this is a really old drawing I did. Here's a newer one. This is you know, a few it's a little bit old, but it was from, you know, the past year. So this is a drawing of Rocky Balboa. So here you can see the same thing. I'm just speeding this up here. But the face, it just comes very naturally. Like look how fast the body comes in, and then look how fast the face is. Literally 2 seconds, and the rest is spent drawing the body. That, like, it's amazing. And then I you know, I line everything, get all the colors in there, shading and stuff. And I was just this little sun over here, just so I know where the light source is, and I can make the shadows look a little bit better, you know, and then add it in the background and stuff. But this face, it's probably not my favorite face. It's not terrible, but it's not great. I can't remember if I used, no, it's just shading. Okay. But, you know, I did try. This isn't my best drawing ever, but it's not the worst. There's certainly worse. Lots of worse drawings in here. But, you know, lots of stuff in there. Then, we'll go back here. Oh, I guess I could show you my other art class stuff. So, this over here, we had to do an observed self-portrait. And the first way I tried it, I was trying to, so this is just a picture of me in class, because the teacher wanted us to take a picture of ourselves in class. And I believe I was trying to trace it. And I didn't like how it was coming out. So, yeah, because it looks too photorealistic, and I wanted to try and paint it, but, you know, I'm not the best at painting, so, I mean, like, it's okay. But the teacher wanted an observed self-portrait, so this is just the first draft that I tried. And then this one, I didn't trace the picture. I actually had it next to me while I was drawing, so I was just looking at it. And then I drew what I saw. So that's just what an observed portrait is. I actually have more pencil drawings of observed portraits. I believe I painted this one a little bit too. See, I added some blush here to my knuckles, my fingertips, my cheeks, and then drew in my glasses and the shading and highlights. unlike my skin and hair. Um, yeah. And then I made my eyes blue. See, my eyes don't really look like this. They're not actually blue. They're kind of a greenish blue. It's just I've tried for so long to try and capture the color that my eyes are, and I literally I just can't do it. I can't figure it out. Because every time I try to like take a picture of my eye and like color drop it, it looks gray, which like my eyes aren't gray, they're blue, but they have like this yellow ring around my pupils, so my eyes look green, but they're not green exactly. My sister's eyes are definitely green. So this drawing was based on a song called "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me" by the Violent Femmes, I believe, and or not the Violent Femmes. Maybe it was the Violent Femmes. I can't remember. But "Do You Really Want to Hurt Me?" And I found this drawing, and it was an example of this artistic style called maximalism, which is the opposite of minimalism. And I did try, like you can see on his arms here, I wrote the lyrics of the song, and I really just wanted like a lot of lines. I wanted a lot of different crazy, colors and stuff. I went all out because like I went on his hands here. I added all this stuff. Um, I added some lyrics on the side here. I really just wanted him to be very, very detailed. I remember drawing this part, this like, because the song is about kind of like a breakup, kind of like after a breakup, or at least that's my interpretation. And some of the lyrics are, "Do you really want to hurt me? Yes, I suppose I want to hurt you." And I was just listening to the song, and it's like it's got this really good beat to it, and I kept thinking of like a heartbeat, and then it's also kind of a love song, but like after a love has ended or been broken. And then I was like, okay, so it's got like this beat, it's got a broken sound, it's kind of, and I couldn't stop thinking about heartbeats and like love and all this stuff. So I drew this character who I imagine would be singing the song, or at least like the song is what's going through his head, and I wanted him to look like he had just gotten his heart ripped out after a fight. So that's why his knuckles are bloody. He's got blood on his face. He's been in a fight. That's what I was thinking. And then his heart got ripped out. That's what I guess this part was the main focus of my drawing, just where his heart gets ripped out. Because I wanted to add a lot of detail here. I wanted this to really pop. And it's the most saturated color is just the red. Because his skin is really dull, his eyes are really dull. Like they're a vibrant green, you can tell, you can see that, but they're kind of dull. At least in comparison to this red, which is very saturated, because I wanted it to be loud and I wanted it to pop out at you. And so I presented this in class and I showed everybody, and one of the students in my class had like a teacher with them a lot of the time, like a helper or something. I forget exactly what her job was, but she saw this and she was like, "Oh, I thought this was about gun violence." And that really made me think about how art gets interpreted, because I wanted this to be about heartbreak. I wanted this to be about like I just had my heart ripped out. Like I wanted him to be full of anguish and pain and bleeding, like really hurt. And when she said that, I was like, "No, that's not what it's about. Why are you saying that?" It's really it caught me off guard actually because I just wasn't expecting someone to see this and think gun violence rather than like heartbreak. But I guess it can be interpreted anyway. And because she saw all these lines in the back, these lines in the background, and she was like, are those like the number of victims from gun violence? Like tally marks or something. And I was like, no, that's not what it's about. But she saw this, and like I can see it. It looks like a bullet hole, but that's not what I wanted it to be. So I feel like this piece of art, it wasn't exactly what I wanted it to be, but it also wasn't like a failure. It just wasn't what I wanted it to be. And the way people interpreted it, I guess, was difficult for me to like deal with. That's the hard part about my art, is unless I take everything literally, people don't take it literally. Or people do take it literally. So I don't know why I said that. Unless I make everything in the drawing literal, like a heart literally means a heart, a light source literally means a light, a facial expression literally means a facial expression. It's really hard for me to be figurative because I want people to understand what I'm trying to tell them through my art. And it's really hard when I make things figurative because people are like, "Oh, what does this mean? Is this like a like here's a perfect example. I have this panel way back here. I forget exactly where it is. It's way back here. Like I drew this probably a year ago. But it's this moment where give me a sec. Let me find it first and then I'll explain it. It's not here. Not here, not here. Oh. I could have sworn it was way back there. Interesting. Well, okay, well here's the thing. I had this moment where Dean and Cass are kind of having a conversation, and I guess the whole point of this comic is to okay, wait, I found it. So here's this moment here where Sam and Dean are arguing because a little bit of backstory, they're basically being told what to do by a bunch of angels, and Dean and Sam don't really agree with what the angels want. And Sam here, he's arguing that the angels think that humans are just tools, and Cass is an angel. And so Dean is defending Cass. He's like, no, Cass really, like, he cares about us. He wants to be our friend. Like, he wants to help us, not them, not the other angels. And I had this moment where Dean he grabs his jacket here. And this is on his left side. This is where his heart is. And I also draw Dean, he's left-handed in this, because the actor who plays him is left-handed, and I wanted to kind of portray that a little bit with his mannerisms, because the only way that I can kind of put the actor and the drawings that I make together is to kind of copy the actor's mannerisms, just kind of the way he moves his hands, the way he moves his face, the way he would like tilt his head or not tilt his head or look at something. I just wanted to add as much character that he made in the show into my drawings, because I wanted the characters to be the same, because they are. So Dean is grabbing his jacket here, and here in this moment, I wanted Dean to feel something in his chest, his heart, because a lot of the time when people describe happiness or love or caring for someone else, they describe it as a warmth in their chest. And his hand is supposed to be on his chest like this. He's supposed to be looking down at it. I guess I messed up a little because I had him looking down like at his hand like this, but I wanted him to be looking like that. But I didn't tilt his head enough, so it doesn't look exactly how I pictured it. And it's also drawn from the front, so it's hard to tell that he's looking down at his hand rather than like at his palm. But his hand is supposed to be on his chest like this. And he's thinking, what is this? It's so warm. And it's because I have this light coming from his hand right here. I wanted him to be right here. I wanted him to be feeling something warm. And the only way that I could think to depict that warmth that he's feeling in his chest is to have a warm light radiating from his heart. And this is the only way I could think to portray this. This is the only way I wanted to, because I didn't want him to be like, oh, there's this warmth in my chest. Because if you feel a warmth in your chest, whether that's how you describe happiness or whatever, you know what you're supposed to be feeling. In this moment, Dean isn't supposed to know what he's feeling. He's confused. I mean, look at him. He's confused. He doesn't know what this is. Like, he doesn't know what he's feeling. He doesn't know how he feels about anything. He doesn't even know why he's feeling this warmth. And so I put this moment in here, and I have him close his hand, and I wanted the warmth to be like trapped in his hand, because he feels it and he closes his hand around it to hold on to it. And he's talking about this. We should encourage him to make his own choices. We shouldn't take advantage of him, because if you've read this comic, that you know that Cass was taken advantage of a lot in a bad way. And I wanted Dean to kind of honor Cass's choice, his ability to have free will, because for a long time people didn't. They took that away from Cass, and Dean was like, no, I want to give that back to you. It's yours. And so I wanted to have that moment where he doesn't understand exactly what he's feeling, but he feels something. And I wanted that light to represent his feeling. Because, like, he doesn't know what it is. We don't really know what it is, because he doesn't know, so he can't explain it to us. And I guess the point of all of that is to say that I had my friend read this comic, and he asked me, what's coming out of his hand? And I had to explain, nothing's coming out of his hand. He's feeling an emotion, and the light coming out of his hand represents that emotion. So hindsight for me is like, I probably should have drawn it different. I could have drawn it at a different angle. I should have fixed the way his head was. I could have put anything. I could have made it so that his hand looked like it was more on his chest. Excuse me. Rather than out in front of him. And it's difficult to have something touching something else when I don't really use shading. You see this, it's very flat. Like, there's no shading underneath his neck here, under his nose. There's no shading on this side of his face at all. It's all very flat. But I don't mind that. I like the flat style. I did that intentionally. I also wanted this part. this page here and this one here, these are two of my favorites because I love what it represents. I love how it puts us in Dean's headspace. And in this first page, he's just kind of going about his day. Like, he's upset, but he gets in the shower and he's just kind of standing there. He's, going through the motions, but he's, to me at least, he looks visibly upset. Like, that's what I intended for this part. I wanted him to be upset. Like, even look at the little downturn of his shoulders, the way his head is kind of down like this. He looks dejected almost, and his face is hidden from us for these first two, this one and this one. His face is hidden, so like you don't really know what he's feeling. And then the first time we really see his face is from the side here, but like he just looks upset. He looks sad. And I drew that intentionally that way. And this page, this one, this moment, and this moment, these two up here, are perfect to me. These are exactly what I wanted this to look like. This is exactly what I meant to put on the page when I drew it. I wanted Dean to look at the handprint, which the handprint is something very special. It's literally the perfect thing. Imagine you meet someone and the first time that you meet, they touch your shoulder, and that's their mark on you. It's whether it's visible or not. It's a literal, like, they have touched you, and then as years or weeks or months or whatever pass, that mark becomes stronger, and your bond with that person becomes stronger. Whether it turns into romance or friendship or whatever, like, that bond is yours. And this handprint is the physical manifestation of the bond between Dean and Cass. And I love this moment here where he touches it. It's so special to me. I love it. And I drew this very specifically. I wanted his hand to not fit perfectly over it because it's not his handprint, but it's his shoulder. Like, you touch your own shoulder, you can put your hand on your own shoulder. You can get the whole thing in there. But I don't know. It's hard to describe exactly how I feel about it because it makes me feel amazing. Like, this is exactly what I wanted. I want him to be looking at it. I want him to be focusing on it. He's looking at it. He's thinking about it. And then he touches it. And up until this point, Dean has kind of been, sort of pushing Cass away and kind of repressing feelings towards it. And this moment right here is the first time where Dean actually lets himself, feel it. Feel his sadness or his regret or his whatever. And I love it. I love how his face looks. I love how he looks sad, but he looks longing and, like, wistful towards it. And, like, then the way he gently touches his own shoulder. I love that we can visually describe things and you don't need words to explain how to feel about it. It's an amazing thing. And I get to do that. I get to draw that. I get to create that feeling for someone else. And I know that's just like a simple little comic panel. It's just one panel out of... I'm pretty sure I counted these. There's like 400 pages so far. And it's one panel out of those 400 pages. But, like, that one is my favorite. And I don't know. All of the panels that I draw, I try to make them as good as I can because I want that panel could be someone's favorite, and I want to be able to do that for people. This is why I love the visual medium, whether it's comics or an illustration or a movie. It's something special that people get to experience, and I love being able to create that experience for people, especially when it's like this. So this comic was based on a fan fiction for the show Supernatural, and someone else wrote the fan fiction, and I just adapted it into this comic. And I did that because when I was reading their story, I literally just couldn't stop picturing it. And I mainly think in words. I usually think in words. But when I think in images, I have to make them. I have to, like, I either have to film it, make it a video, or I have to draw it or paint it. And I'm so lucky that I'm able to do that. Like, I'm able to create visual art visual art, because like this is something that's special to me. Like, when I feel really deeply about something, I like to create things about it. Like Supernatural, I don't really like the show anymore. It's, you know, it had a time where it was in my favorite, and I still do really like it, but I still have trouble watching it now, because like the time where it was very important to me has kind of passed, and the show itself isn't what's important to me anymore. It's everything else surrounding it. So like the actors are special, the fandom, the people I've met because of the fandom, like fan fiction, the people who still talk about it, the people who are still creating things for it, like all of that stuff is what I'm here for. And I don't really need the show for that anymore, because I got my people. Um, Sam's hair is tricky. It always looks different every time I draw it, because I really like this style where it's longer, but I mean literally just a chapter or two ago, I was drawing his hair completely differently. Like, I mean this is pretty much the same, but like at the beginning of this story, his hair looks so much shorter. I mean, look at the difference. Like, it's behind his ears and everything, and then how I drew it a chapter ago, it looks like it grew 2 inches. And I don't know, most people probably wouldn't notice that, but for me it bugs me, because like I really do, I like this style a lot more. But when I first drew his hair, it went behind his ears like that. But like, I like Sam with longer hair. Not, you know, I don't, it just looks better to me. That's all. I don't even like Sam. I don't know why he's in this. Actually, I do know. He's in this because he was in the original story, and I couldn't just cut him out. Because I didn't want to change the story completely, but I did want it to be completely different. Like, it still follows some of the same story beats. Actually, a lot of the same story beats. A lot of the dialogue is taken straight from the story. So but I'm still changing things. Like, it's not a perfect adaptation. It's not a perfect copy. It's really just like I read it, I rewrote it, and this is my version. Like, this comic is what that story would look like if I had written it first. Like all the same ideas, all the same plot points and everything, but like I had come up with it. And I didn't want to take credit for it. The original author, I actually credited them um, in the comic itself, and I have links all throughout the comic where you find it. So if anyone wanted to read the original story, they can, because I left them plenty of links and everything, like plenty of ways to find it. And I did say clearly that this is my adaptation. Like, it's not the same story. It's not going to be the same. It's not going to end the same. It's really, you know, um, yeah, it's my version, I guess. Which is hard to do because it's, yeah. It's interesting, but oh well. I could make this a little bit bigger. I do really like his shoulder there. Just cut it off, it's fine. Relax. I think my favorite part to draw is the neck and shoulders. Like, those are my favorite lines to draw. They're great. Yeah, no, I just love them. They're good. How many? I finished one page, and it's been an hour. Funny. Interesting. How did I want to do this? Oh, I remember. I wanted him to be up here. So it'd be like this. See, he's not so much bigger, but bigger. I'm gonna turn that a little bit. Move this down. That. Put the shoulders here. Arm like this. Kind of his face will be down here, like that. His ear up here, like that. Perfecto. Look at that. So it's not perfect. His hair is too big, but whatever, it's fine. Go like that. And Dean can have his arm go like that. Whoop, too much. Ah, look at that. Look at that perspective. Oh, that's good. Sometimes I find drawing perspective really difficult, but like other times I can just draw what I wanted to. It's great. Because if you're drawing a hand flat, you want it to look, it's gonna look like this kind of, you know, like that. Like, that's not a perfect hand, but that's how it would look. And then this hand is like perfect. Oh my gosh. Because the middle finger there, and then the thumb here goes up a little bit. Because I wanted his hand to be like this. So his thumb goes up a little bit, and then the fingers are like that. And like that's holding on to something. See, look. Doesn't that look so much better? God, I love art. Look at that. It's great. Uh, legs. Like this. No, oh, that was too much. So we're gonna kind of have Sam like walking into Dean here, and they kind of collide, I guess. Usually, Dean and Sam's hugs are kind of like explosive. They just kind of run into each other, you know. Like this. One thing that I learned while drawing people is that um, it's really difficult from the side to make people look like they have a backside. This this part right there. It's really difficult to get it to look like how it would actually look if someone was walking up to someone else and you just like took a picture mid step, you know? Like this looks okay, but like his back looks weird because he's supposed to be like hunched over like this kind of. So he should have his back should be curved like this. But the problem is your back when you're standing straight, it does not look like this. It looks like that. Like that. I mean that's probably a little exaggerated, but like this. So if you're bending forward like that, it would go like this, depending on how forward you're going, you know? Because if you're standing like this, right, from the back or from the side, my back is straight, but it still looks like this here. So if I bend forward, like pretending I'm hugging someone, you still have this little tiny curve right here, but then the back is mostly hunched forward, so it looks like this. It's hard to draw because I mean Sam here, he's a tall guy, so he has a really long back. I mean he has long legs, but he has a long back also, so you have to be careful so that he doesn't look like a hunchback. But it's difficult because you have to take account what the spine would look like, and he's not hunched over that much. I mean, like his line of action goes like this. So, I mean, I guess I can make his back a little bit more curved, but it's tricky. So I guess that's okay. Like this. And this will be hidden, so you don't even need to see it. And then this part, Dean is mostly hidden by Sam. So that's a plus. That's a good thing. That means we have less to draw. Yeah. Also, we want to be careful. And this is Dean's bloody arm. So I'm going to use some red here, just, you know, a little bit of, I guess, splash or something. You know, like a little, like that. Just like a little action here, right here. Just so you can see that he's kind of making contact, you know. It's like if you have water on a table and you kind of slap it. If you were to pause the moment when your hand hits the water, it kind of whooshes out a little bit, you know. So that's the moment I'm picking here to have his blood kind of do the same thing. it's kind of just flattening out and splashing. Just a little bit. And then Dean is standing more upright. His head is going to be hidden back here. So we don't need to draw that. But his back will definitely be more straight. So we can incorporate the spinal curve that we were talking about earlier. And then we can add in his legs here. And that can be smaller. And we'll add in his leg over there. Oh, that's good. Like that. See, now I've made a problem for myself, because with the inclusion of this here, which is supposed to be like the top of his thigh, it looks more like he's turned 3/4 towards us. Like his lower body, at least, is turned. And that's not what I want. So I have to fix that and add his other leg in like this. There. So that's not as bad. Still a little wonky, but it's fine. We can work with that. And I'll just erase this because it looks a little too feminine for me, for my tastes. So we'll just have that. Yeah. And because it's hard to tell, but the top of your thigh is really curved. So I want to just add that this line right here and this line right here, just to show that those are the tops of their thighs. And they're not flat lines, they're a little bit curved. Because the tops of your thighs are actually where a lot of your muscle and fat are. So I just want that there to show that that's where that is. It's because it's a little curved there. Yeah. And then for motion, since Dean is going this way, I'm going to have his shirt kind of billow out behind him a little bit. Like that. And then Sam, I think I want his jacket to go like that. Perfect. And then that's the collar of his jacket. And you can't see Dean's, but you can see his pants. Have his shirt go like that. So erase this and this. Like that. And yeah, okay. We'll do that actually. And then we can erase this right here. And then I think that's it. I mean, maybe we could have Sam's hand right here. Looks a little weird like that, so I'm not gonna continue with that one. That'll be like the top of his pinky there. Make that a little bigger. Yeah. Alright, so that's an hour and a half. I've finished a page and a half, so I think that's good. I mean, this pose was a little bit more complicated, but you know, this page was pretty simple. by itself there. This page was kind of complicated, but it, just this one pose here. Yeah, so I think I'll end the stream now. No one watched it, so that's okay. But, I'm gonna click on this. I'm pretty sure you can still hear me, so that's good. I'm going to probably watch Thor 2, because I think that's the next one in the MCU that I need to watch. But otherwise, you guys have a good day. Thanks for watching. Sorry I had to listen to me drone on for so long.